Welcome back, everyone, to Sydney Spin Big Ten edition. As you can see, we have some sunny skies here in the Virgin Islands, but nonetheless, I have been keeping track of softball all weekend long. I spent last weekend in Tallahassee, was able to watch a Big Ten team down there, and we have a very special guest for you tuned in that she'll hop on in a few minutes. But until then, let me give you a Big Ten recap. Starting off with Northwestern, they had an off weekend. They're headed to South Carolina this weekend where they'll play Minnesota and top-ranked South Carolina. They also just announced today their new field coming in 2026, a huge moment for the Big Ten to have another stadium upgrade. Penn State, they were swept by Texas State and lost to Baylor, so they're going to look to get back into their winning ways. At the Penn State Softball Invitational, where they'll play their first home games of the season. And then to Purdue, who I saw play in Fort Myers, Florida. They lost to Florida State twice, but man, did they come out swinging both times in the first inning. Actually, in the second game, they put up 6 runs against Florida State, ultimately lost, but the 9 runs they scored against them was the most they've scored against a ranked opponent in over 5 years. So definitely still a lot of wins to take away from that weekend. They also beat Pitt, which was another nice pickup for them. And then Illinois, they played a doubleheader against Missouri yesterday. They dropped them, but they'll go to Kentucky next weekend and face Louisville twice, and in-conference opponent Michigan. Michigan won 2 games down in Kentucky and will face Illinois in the Cardinal Classic. Michigan State is headed to the same tournament as Northwestern and Minnesota, but will only face the Gophers since they do not play them in conference. Now, keep in mind, these Big Ten matchups right now are all out-of-conference games. And then you have Ohio State, who is going from Tennessee to Kentucky. They'll play Kentucky twice and Rutgers once. Rutgers, they had 2 wins, one being against Lafayette and one against UNC this week. And now Maryland, they are on a hot winning streak right now. They had a walk-off home run against Virginia last night. And Megan, who is now the Terps program record holder for the most stolen bases with 67. In Wisconsin, they had an off weekend and will head to Baltimore where they'll face UAlbany twice, UMBC twice, and Colgate once. Now, Iowa, they're enjoying their spring break as they continue their iconic West Coast trip with a midweek game against Stockton. And they went 2-4 in the first half of the trip and are looking to finish strong right. Riley Moss, the junior, hitting .435. She a 10-0 win in 5 innings against Maine. In Indiana, they won their last 4 games, and they stay undefeated on their home dirt. Now 8-0, and they've hosted the last 2 weekends. And then Nebraska, I already talked about them. We are going to get to Minnesota, who they made the trip to Clemson, South Carolina. They had a terrific weekend. They beat Clemson in their opening game and finished the weekend 3-1. And we have graduate senior Sydney Strelow from Kenosha, Wisconsin with us. Sydney, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always fun to talk to you.
I love it as well. But I want to get into this amazing weekend that you guys had down in Clemson. Kind of talk me through what was really clicking well for the team.
Yeah, I think we are seeing that we are a different team than last year, a different team than we've been the past couple seasons. Obviously, it's kind of like, I mean, it's the game of softball. Like, hitters got to hit, pitchers got to pitch, we got to play defense. And I think that it all kind of clicked together. All 3 parts were working together really well, and we were picking each other up if one of those parts wasn't working. So I think for us, it was kind of finding our groove and making sure that we trust each other to do our job and then, do it well, I guess, this weekend. So,
I mean, it works well when you have all 3 assets of the game in your favor. You talk about being a different team from last year. Can you expand on what did it take to really transform you guys to where you are now, feeling very confident in every parts of the game? Maybe was there something different you focused on in the off season?
Yeah, we lost a group of seniors that contributed a lot, and we also gained some transfers, some freshmen that have an immediate impact when they walked into the program. But I think with every change and almost like with every leadership change in the senior class, I think figuring that out was the big thing, and kind of making sure that we still have that bond that we have off the field, on the field. And I think this weekend for sure it transferred over into us really working together and clicking the way that we do off the field too. So
You decided to come back for your fifth year. And one of the things I love that you said is, I'm here for a good time, but I'm also here for a long time. And you've done both. Kind of walk me through that decision in coming back for a fifth year.
Oh, it was a no-brainer. I always told myself that I'm going to play softball as long as I can. And that was kind of one of the reasons why I also played in the summer league this past summer, in the Florida Gulf Coast League, because I just wanted to play as much softball as I could. Like if I still have the opportunity, I still want to be there. And like being a Gopher means so much to me. And when COVID hit, like the emotions of not knowing if I'm going to get that extra year, and then kind of going through academically, like making sure I could get done in 4 years or finish in 5 or like start a grad program, all those things going around. But it was a no brainer. As soon as they said, like, you can have another year, I was like, I'm here. Here if you want me.
With that being said, in your fifth year, you are on track to having your very best year. You're holding it down defensively like you always do. And you've also created such a spark offensively in really big moments this season. Was there kind of different training that you went into having this season? Or is it just you feel like all of your expertise and experience the last 4 that have really prepped you for this moment?
I think something is different. Something clicked on offense for me. I really honestly think it was this summer being able to compete and not have, like, I love wearing the Gopher jersey. I love being out there with my teammates. And I felt a sort of pressure throughout college in general. And I feel like this year I've really just let go. And like, obviously we love softball. We love being out there. We love the game, but there is more than softball and it doesn't define me. And I really just wanted to make sure that I was okay with the little successes and I was okay with the failures. And we're all just these little people on this big floating rock. Like it's not a crazy huge deal, but also it's something that we're passionate about, and just making sure that it's not becoming too big or, taking those failures to heart so literally. So that's kind of my approach been this year. You're frozen. It'll go back.
That's such an important message. Sorry, left you for a second. Anyways, that is such an important message. And I'm so glad that you touched on it, because I think that is so overlooked in athletics. Is there's pressures. Obviously, you want to perform for your university, but more than often, we are our own harshest critic, especially in a game of so much failure. And I want to know, how did you get to that place? Because you mentioned playing in the summer league, which I think it's so interesting that you almost noticed that I don't want to say you fell more in love with the game, but you seem like you found an identity outside of the game with playing more in the summer. Kind of explain to me how that all went down.
Yeah, I think like when you talk about like travel ball versus college, it's a completely different game. Like whether you want to admit it or not, like coming here and like when I first stepped on campus and first got into practice, it was like I had never touched a softball before. Like I thought I didn't know how to play the game. Like it was a completely different atmosphere. And I think that going to the summer league really kind of like showed me that I can go out there and have fun and not care and just like play softball and play free. Like I found that it doesn't have to be this pressure thing. Like throughout travel ball, you're working to go to college, and now you're here, like just have fun with your friends and make plays and hit the ball and just all those things. So I think that was really important for me this summer, is just to get out there and ball.
And you're doing exactly that. And what are ways now within season? Because we both know once the season starts, it can be a gauntlet weekend after weekend. How are you reminding yourself to bring the fun within the game? Is it looking at your one teammate who you can share a laugh with? Because playing against you on the field, you always have looked like you've had a great time.
Yeah, I think just cherishing like the people that I'm around and knowing that I want to leave Gopher softball knowing that I don't want them to remember me because of the plays I made or because of the balls I hit. Like I want them to remember me as a really good teammate, as someone that they could turn to and had a lot of fun on the field. Like that was my kind of um, like way of looking at this season and approach to getting on the field. Like I want people to remember me as who I am, not just the softball player that I was.
I love that. And I want to talk a little bit about Gopher softball because you guys have an incredible tradition throughout the Big Ten and nationally. Tell me about this program. No one knows it better than you. Now in your fifth season with them, what really makes them stand out and unique within the Big Ten Conference?
I think just the culture that we have within our program. Coach Ritter always talks about it. You'll never be in a group of people working towards the same, like no one's ever going to want it as much as this people that you're with right now, like working towards the same goal. So I think that we really cherish each other and we cherish each other's success and we cherish winning together. And I think that was one of the big things that I even saw like before I committed. I know it's a different coaching staff. We went through coaching staff changes, but like it truly, like looking at the alumni and watching Big Ten softball, like I could see it on the field, stepping on campus, I could feel it. Like that was just the big thing for me. And I think that legacy has definitely, you know, been brought throughout the years for sure.
Now in a leadership position that you are in, you've been in honestly the last few years, carrying that message, it's one thing to say it, but it's another to really act like it all the time, just about like team first. In what ways are you kind of instilling those values on the incoming faces season after season?
Yeah, I think the leadership role that I have this year is a little different than last year because I was looking to the senior leaders last year and like learning from them and like I really enjoy being able to talk softball but also just to talk about life with my teammates, and I think that finding those personal connections off the field has really brought into like how I lead on the field this year. So I think that was a big thing, just making sure that I'm not only like connecting with people because of softball, I'm connecting with people because of who they are and what they value.
It's so huge. And I see you all the time. I think you're the biggest advocate for your teammates on the field, off the field. I was laughing at Twitter the other day, or I should call it X, about the Big Ten Awards came out and you were hyping up one of your teammates who I know you felt deserved one of them. Kind of tell me like how much does that motivate the team around you, and do they just feel that from you about that you always have your teammates' backs?
Yeah, I think I always like with that tweet, I was really like I knew Jess deserved a lot of recognition and she always does. She's a great player. And specifically that weekend I was like, I know that these players deserve it too. And I really just I wanted you to have it so bad. And literally after the game, after the last game we played that weekend, I turned to her and I go, congrats on Big Ten Player of the Week. And then she goes, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, okay. And then obviously that wasn't the way it went. But like, I think just being able to talk to them and make sure that they hype me up and I hype them up and it kind of goes back and forth. And we really just work towards making each other feel great with every little success that we have in the weekend. So
You have never been one to shy away from, I feel like, bringing this like spark about you on the field. Anything to pump up your team. I think of like walks, you sprinting down the base path. Like, where does this come, this fire from inside of you?
honestly, some of it is just goofiness. Some of it is just like trying to change the momentum and trying to make my teammates laugh. But I think just having those good vibes really plays a role in the momentum of the game and taking advantage of those little things. And it's like us versus them type of mentality, and making sure that the us is like truly go for softball against the opponent. So,
And talking about the us, your team, you have, a weekend this weekend, you head off to South Carolina, but after that starts the Big Ten schedule. How excited are you for conference play this season for your team?
I'm very excited. I was just talking to my roommate the other day, Delaney, and we were walking to coffee or something when we were somewhere. I don't even remember, but we were both like, gosh, like 2 games in one day. Like, we're getting old for this. Like, wait for Big Ten play type of thing when we
It's
have one
real.
game a day. And then we were like, well, maybe we can wait because that means it's halfway through the season and that means we're almost done. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I think we're really excited. I also think it's so weird this year because, like, I think you mentioned we don't play Northwestern like in a
Yeah.
series this year, which is super
So
weird.
odd.
And also we played Big Ten schools in preseason. Like, this is so different than what we're normally used to. But no, I'm really excited, and I think that the time that we get during Big Tens, like, we get to spend more time off the field, and I think that plays a huge role in the team chemistry. And I'm really excited just to see where this team goes.
I don't think anyone understands about in the pre-conference tournaments how hard that many games is on your body. Like, I totally understand what you're feeling. We had an older team last year that I felt like was just like barely scraping their way through, needing that one game a day. Obviously, your goal, like everyone's, is to go in there and to win the Big Ten. But I want to know specifically, like, how confident do you feel in your team? Where are you guys like looking to go? What are your like personal team goals as well within that?
Yeah, I think we just want to win, and we want to win together. I think it definitely is a one day at a time type of mentality. I know in the beginning of the season, beginning of the preseason, we had a few games where we lost, and we felt like we really didn't bring the energy, or we really didn't make the adjustments that we needed to make. So I think that we're really excited about taking it one game at a time and working slowly to that Big Ten title goal. Um, and obviously, that's been our goal for the past couple of seasons, and we've fallen short a few times. And I think we have more hunger this year, and just like having that chip on our shoulder, knowing that we didn't get to those goals last year, but we know that we definitely are capable this year.
Is there a series that you're really looking forward to? Maybe the opponent or just playing at the stadium?
I don't want to look forward to it. I don't want it to be here, but I'm really excited for our senior weekend. Just for my whole family to be out there, for all the seniors' families to be out there. And I remember last year, just the environment, the almost like the butterflies of it, and knowing that like this is our last time here, but like cherishing every single second of it. And I have that, but I also don't want it to come anytime soon. Um, Excited to play Nebraska, obviously. I don't remember the last time we played Nebraska at home, honestly. And then there's a few stadiums that we haven't played at. I'm pretty sure we haven't played it, or I have never played Maryland. So I did to like go to different places that we hadn't been. This is my 5th year. Like, it feels like I should have been everywhere by now, but like I feel like we're just excited to get out there and get going, and one game a day.
You have hinted at obviously how much you want to, I feel like, really relish in this last season and slow it down as much as you can. Kind of walk me through what these last 5 years have meant for you playing in Minnesota. I know you well. You're a Wisconsin native. Not a lot of people come out of Wisconsin, play Division 1, but you've made it, and not only that, you've made an impact on the program and in the Big Ten. How much does it mean to you?
That is a loaded loaded question because I mean, oh gosh. Um, it's just like coming from where I was at, and like softball is big in Southeast Wisconsin. I feel like a lot of girls really want to play and really want to get to the next level, and just being able to achieve that goal and then get here and have fun doing it and meeting all these people that I've met and all the opportunities that it's given me. I am forever grateful and Minnesota. And I look back on it, and like my sisters are going through the recruiting process right now, and like thinking about that time of my life, I just I was so stressed. I was so stressed to get to college, and I am now almost done, and it's like, gosh, I feel like I've made it worth it. Like I feel like I have truly like done everything that I could, and gave it my all, and I'm just really really happy. I'm really happy that it was Moda.
I think that's about as great as anyone can feel walking off whenever that happens, is happy in the place that you chose, but also proud of the work you put in. What has been your advice to your sisters in going through this recruiting process after everything that you've went through?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes their questions are a little like they're like nervous to talk to their coach, or like nervous to answer a question on a questionnaire, and I'm like, it's okay. Like just put yourself out there. Like use like all of your like be yourself. Just be you, and you're gonna find your home, and you're gonna you're gonna do your best. You just put your all into it, and yeah, I mean, I not that I wasn't myself during the recruiting process, but I know how stressful it can be to like almost try to be this perfect recruit or try to be this perfect softball player, perfect human being. And it's like if you just be yourself and, you know, play softball and have fun, and it'll all work out in the end. So
I love that. Lastly, I want to know, 5 years in at Minnesota, what was your best memory so far looking back that you feel like really encapsulates your time there?
there's a lot of memories, a lot of memories, a lot of funny memories. I think if we're not talking about the softball field, I think one of my favorite memories happened this year, when we were on our Florida trip, and or yeah, our spring training trip, and we were at the Jackie Robinson training complex, and there was it was like our last day, and it started pouring rain. And the new movie, the new rom-com Anyone But You, and the song, the
Yes.
like unwritten song, we took the waterproof speaker and just blasted it in the middle of the
Oh
parking
my
lot as it was pouring rain, and we were just dancing, and it was so fun. And I think those are the things I'll remember the most. Like I love them so much. I love my teammates. I love where I'm at, and I think it's going to be really hard to walk away like immediately from softball and from these people, but I know that if I ever, they're one phone call away, like, or as of right now, they're one street away. Like they mean so much to me, and I think those memories I will cherish the most.
I love that your favorite memory is an off the field memory, because I think, like you said, those are the ones that stick with you. And in just seeing how vulnerable and real your relationships are with your teammates, I'm so confident that you will have them for a lifetime. They may not be a street away, but like you said, there'll be plenty of visits. And Sydney, I cannot thank you enough for coming on Softball America. It has been a pleasure to watch your last 4 years. I've been loving watching your fifth year, and super excited to watch you all compete in the Big Ten.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great. It's been so awesome to be able to, come from the same spot, and like small world. Softball's such a small world. It's so great.
I know. I was feeling great before you came on. It's like if we would have thought about this like when we were in high school playing against each other. Like, this is where we would both end up, our journeys. It's just been really neat. And I know we both are super, super proud to represent Wisconsin.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you.
So, you're welcome.